Today, we're going to go ahead and we're going to cover creating a form, the funnel builder, and the opt-in page. So let me just speak to you for a second here, okay? Why do you need this stuff, right? So why, right? So what is it all about? Is that you're going to get leads and you need to get them into the system. So we have to find a way to get them into the system. So that's why I'm actually starting with the form first. It doesn't matter, even if you reverse them, you'll eventually just like put it on save and go back and get it. But you start with the form first, it makes it easier. And so now you can actually create your own funnel pages. This thing has a very, very advanced builder in it. Just straight out, I'll just tell you they copied ClickFunnels. So if you've been using ClickFunnels, you actually have a few things. And if you have been using ClickFunnels, I'm gonna bait you. I want to dangle a carrot. And I really want to invite you to stay for the duration of this training. I'm going to just do a quick flash of my screen because I have something pretty super that I want to show you. But I also want to do is I want to encourage you that if you've been working with the ClickFunnels builder for a couple of years or even whatever for a time and you understand it, you're not going to have a problem with the system at all. It's very simple. And again, what most people missed out with ClickFunnels is they jumped into this ClickFunnels system. And what they did is they tried to just like look at the system for what it was instead of actually what it is. And what it is, it's just a page builder. That's it, plain and simple. Wix page builders, Squarespace page builders, ClickFunnels, Webly, all this different stuff. It's just a page builder. And if you understand the core concepts of a page builder, well, you could be building funnels for, let me do the wrong hand, for Gary Vee and get in his office. Okay, because if you understand the core concepts, then you can look really cool, right? This image right here, okay? Let's just talk about this image for a second. And let me see if I can stretch it so that I can get your undivided attention. And so what I have here is you just need to understand that all a page builder is rows, columns, and elements. That's all it is. It's actually just rectangles on top of rectangles. And so what you're seeing over here is this right here is a row. So the green part, let me just full disclosure so I don't screw you up, is a section, right? So there's these sections, and then you've got the rows, columns, and then the elements. So it's just a rectangle, right? So it's just rows on top of rows, rows on top of rows. And so for example, this is one row with one column. This is one row with two columns, okay? And I did the columns in purple, and you'll see there's a reason why I did them these colors, okay? It's gonna make sense for you. You've got one row with three columns. And so let's just jump into this idea of the element now. So you understand the row and you understand the column. Inside of these things now are elements. An element can be something like text. An element can be an image. An element can be a countdown bubble. It's these little elements, all right? What you're seeing here is you're actually seeing me put down, spacing. So literally you're seeing these spacing. And these will be some technical terms that you'll learn later on, called, margins. You'll learn a little bit about that stuff, but I just wanted to show you this, how it looks. And so for real quickly, before we jump in there, you'll see that, this row, which I colored blue, I want you to think of three pancakes in front of one another. Okay. So it's really like three rows in front of each other. That's all it is. And so if you see right here, this row doesn't have a background color because remember, row is blue. There's no background color. So you can clearly see right through to the back end, which is the section. Then you have a row with no background. You also have a column with no background color. And then you have an element over it. So remember that they stack on top of each other, the rows in the back, the columns in the middle, and the elements in front. So the reason I did the colors, okay? The reason I did the colors is because they actually match the colors inside of this builder. So for example, this purple color represents column. Okay, not necessarily like you have to know this. Okay, it's not like you need it. I'm just trying to make it easy for you. Okay, the blue, if you see the blue, you can't really see the blue wrapping around, but what I'll do is I'll come down here and I'll show you the blue. Let me just see the blue. So notice how there's a blue triangle. I wish I could draw and you could see me what I'm doing here, but there's a blue right there. Let me see if I can get it to stay. And that's also another trick with this builder, is that you can click one of the controls of it, because as you move the mouse, it's going to bounce around and it can make you feel a little disorientated. But if you click it, it'll open up over here and it stays. See how it's like it's staying? See, the blue is staying, the blue is staying. That's a trick. That's a ninja tip. Okay. And so right here, you can see that blue, that's a row. And then if I come over here, see how I'm like scrolling over and it won't stay still? If you just come over, just click it. If you click, you click it, and notice how it stays open, and then you have the controls over here. Getting familiar with the controls is going to be a little bit more. You have to play around with it, right? You have to play around with it. And so that is your overview of your rows, columns, and elements. Okay, so that's how it works. What I'd like to do real quickly here is, those of you that have bought the VIP upgrade, you got access to some additional assets. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and cater to you because you were good doobies and put up a big whopping $47. And I just want to kind of point out things here. So for example, this is one of the assets that you get inside of there. It's not the best one, but it's definitely one. And this is a really good one for you to learn. And so what you want to see here is, when you look at this picture, I want you now to forever look at funnels or websites ever the same again. They are no longer just this beautiful piece of work. They are just rectangles on top of rectangles. You need to put on your bionic funnel building, website building, whatever you want to call it, glasses. And what's going on is, this is really like, a big section. And then look at this, there's a rectangle with a text element in it. Then this is another column with an image in it. This is a column with an image in it. This is a column with an image in it. That's all this is. And so you can really see it. This is really what it is. Okay, now remember back to the colors that I was demonstrating. All right, let's see if I can pull it aside for you. This is how you need to look at these things forever now. Okay, I'm gonna try to put these together. I don't know if it's gonna be too squish for you, but hopefully you get the idea and you see the picture now. Okay, so this is how you need to start looking at funnels. You need to look at websites. You need to look at things to get inspiration. All right, you need to look at these things to understand and see, what does professional funnel design look like? What does professional websites look like? What does something look like? And you now need to change your vision from seeing this to seeing this. This is how I'm able to see things, replicate things, and move things. And this is actually what it is. Okay, this is what it is. So let's pause these guys for a moment. Okay, and I'm gonna move over to the funnel builder, and let's get over to the funnel builder, and we're going to call this one just a demo. All right, I'm just gonna call this a demo. And inside of here, I'm just gonna call this the demo, and I'm just gonna put in delete so I know to do that. We'll talk about this. You always have to add the slash in here, but this is just demo delete. And that's it, okay? And so what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna actually show you a really beautiful funnel. So again, this is a funnel that, I built. A client made a ton of money on it. And let's just go take a look at this funnel real quickly. So a gorgeous funnel. This is professional funnel design. This is, every professional thing that you could possibly think of that for, this person who's trying to actually sell these kickboxing courses, also different stuff. You come over here, it looks like a website. It's really a landing page. I'm trying to get your email, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. This is a beautiful page. This is the beautiful page, right? And so you need to be able to look at this page for what it is. Once you're able to look at this page for what it is, you should be looking at this and saying, okay, hold on a second. I remember Aaron talking about what I see right off the bat is at the top, this is one row. This is one row. Matter of fact, I have a really good idea. Let's do it like this so that you can actually see it happen. Watch. So this is what you should be doing and looking at it, okay? This is how you got to break it down, is you look at it. Too much bandwidth. You look at it, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to draw for a moment, okay? And what you're going to see is, let's go over here and grab a shape. I'm going to use a different color than black. We're just going to use a big, ugly green. And so you should immediately be seeing this. Okay, boom. There's a row, right? And then you're going to see like another one here. And then you should immediately pop in your head like, oh, wait a minute. And then you should see, oh, this is a column. And this is a column like this. And then you should be looking over here like, oh, this is probably another column. You know, here's another column like this. This is what you want to see bionically. You know, you've got to put this on. Once you can see it like this, you're good to go, right? This just happens to be 3. This is like 1, 2, and this one's just empty. That's all it is. So as soon as this is how you need to see it, you can actually import in your funnels, right? So you can go import your funnels straight into here by using the link. It literally goes like that. You confirm it's yours. You have the permission to actually use the assets. And if you wanted to do that, right? So if you are using ClickFunnels and you're tired of using 14 other software to actually facilitate the back end and all that different stuff, yes, you can come over here and use the system now. All right. So let's get off that point and let's go and look at it. So look what it did. Sure enough, all it's doing is bang, there is the 2 columns, right? 2 columns. There's an element in there. Guess what that element's probably called? An image element. Image, right? There's another element there. And so there it is. There's that row. It made it into a single blue row. See it? The row, and inside the row is a column. And then inside the column is a text element. It's called headline. That's it. Now remember, just like you thought. So here it is. Boom. All right. So now you're looking at this thing and you're saying, okay, there's a row. Then let's just scroll down just a little bit more. There is, it doesn't want to flip over for me real quickly to show you, but there's another row that's hidden behind it. And there's your 2 columns, right? There's your 2 columns. Let's save this. Okay. Let's just save this for a second. All right. So if we were to go ahead and if you were to build from scratch, which I don't teach and I don't recommend, why would you when stuff's already being built for you? But it would look something like this. Demo 2, whatever. Don't worry about my bad typing, okay? Doesn't matter. And so now here you are, and this is how most people start, which is actually a bad idea. You don't necessarily want to start from the beginning, but scratch, but it is also a way that you want to learn. So there's that, right? Let's go and do this. Let's duplicate so you guys can see this, right? Because we're just showing you technique, and then I'll get into like the little things. But I think that it's, you know, learning the little, like, you know, where's the heater, where's the backup lights, where's the parking brake, all that different stuff. I think that, you know, definitely, you know, my time is, I think hopefully let me know if you're appreciating understanding more theory, and I will get into the technicalities of it in just a minute. Okay. But let me know in the chat if you're appreciating me teaching you theory. Okay. See, I can teach you, you know, I can go get a fish for you, or I can teach you how to fish. Right? So let's just go in here. So I need to know that in the chat if this is something that you like or you don't like, because I'm going to get into more technical stuff. But here we are, right? So there's our little thing. There's our green little section. There's an image, and there's the 2 rows. So all you've got to do, you know, we're over here. And so now we have a row, right? Add row. What kind of row? 2 columns. There it is. That's all it is, right? There's an image, and that one's blank. Okay, no problem. So this is where the elements, so rows, columns, elements. That's it. Rows, columns, elements. Boom, boom, boom. And then we just add the image in there, okay? So that's it. Like literally, of course, it looks like a little blown up, but what you're doing is you're literally framing out. I keep looking over here because I like to see people when I'm talking to them. You'll eventually get to learn that about me. Do? you're framing it out. And this is the way that all, good designers, they start with a framework and then you build upon it. I just like to start with full frameworks. It's just me, my own personal thing. But literally, so there it is. And then, so now you've got this next one, which is this row right here, right? And so literally you would just come down here, you'd go add row, one column, and you just drop it below it. So there's a framework. Then you're coming over here, and then you're gonna be like this. Okay, so there's 2 columns right there. Okay, no problem. So we're gonna go into a row, add a row, 2 columns right below it. So again, we're just building out the framework. That's it. It's just the framework. You're coming down here, so there's that. So obviously this is a text element, so you just drag a text element in, right? So just come over here, add element. Oops, hold on a second. And I would just drag that in there, right? So there it is. I'm just building out the framework. This will change once you add a small image. It'll come back up. If this is throwing anybody off, let's go over here and let's go look at some of the little nuts and bolts at this moment, okay? So over here, if you notice any one of these things, they're gonna have a little gear icon. If I click it, this changes. If I come over here and click this one, these changes. These are the parameters of the element, okay? And you can change any one you want. So under here, you can see that as we start scrolling down, you'll get used to this. It is going to be a little disorientating as you first get to use it. As you use it more, it'll become more second nature to you. There's all of these stuff that you can do to every single element, which is all this stuff called padding and margin, okay? Margin will actually move the element. The padding will give it the padding inside of the element. And I'll show you an example in just a moment. But these things are always gonna be there, okay? Always gonna be there. If you actually want to change the background color, there it is. You can play with opacity. What you probably want to start looking at is down here, right? Like, how do I put a new image in it? I want to actually put an image in there. So let's go and put in what would be a logo. So let's go with, how about our logo? Okay. So there it is. So there's a logo. And so now let's go look at what some of the parameters can do, right? So the first one probably that you want to play around with is definitely like the actual parameter of the image. So come over here, you can put in like 300 and what you're doing is you're visually seeing, okay? You're visually seeing what it's doing, and that's what's giving you feedback, and that's how you learn, okay? So it's just like driving a car. Like, no one knows precisely how to hold the wheel, just so that you understand when you're driving a car. What happens is you drive along and you just keep making small corrections. You make small corrections. That's what you're doing. Starts going off course, you're getting feedback, okay, great. And so this is how you should treat things as you start getting into the new, and it'll literally commit to memory. Driving a car is second nature to you now, but not in the beginning. And so I recommend that you only deal with width. Don't really change an image size by its height. It'll distort it in certain configurations. For example, if you have to force it to be 200 high and then you move it into mobile, the image is going to look funky, okay? So whenever you're changing an image, it is recommended that you only use the width parameter, not height, okay? Highly recommend that you use your alt text. This is how computer read things, okay? They actually read through the alt text. Okay, image actions. What do you want to do with this image? You want to have it do something fun? Yeah, you can make it open the pop-up if they click on it. You want it to go somewhere. And again, this is the image element. So no matter where we place this thing, they all have the same kind of configurations, all right? So that's a brief little overview. Of course, I think that this is pretty self-explanatory about the whole align, align left, align center, align right, pretty self-explanatory. Under advanced, okay? You can do a little fun stuff with this, okay? So if you want to play around with it, you're welcome to play around with this. This is how you'll actually learn. This is why I I recommend that you are following along, or more likely doing this after, okay? When I do stuff like this, I'm literally doing it like right then and there with people. Okay, I literally have my computer open. I have 2 monitors, and I'll literally be doing it right at the time, so I can play along. Okay, so long story short, this is what it's all about. Okay, this is what it's all about. Time is running at a certain speed that I'm not agreeing with. It's going pretty quick. So I want to point out some things to you, okay? And what we're going to do is we're going to use this because it's more visually appealing, all right? So I'm just bouncing over to make you understand about how this all works. And here's how you get there, right? So you start with a framework, and then you start to add stuff in. This is what it's going to look like next. You'll be going to add background images, all that different stuff to your sections, all that crazy stuff. And you'll learn that as you start playing around with it, okay? So let's just come over here. A couple of things I want to point out that is very different in this builder versus ClickFunnels and even other builders is the text thing, okay? In this text thing, I want to show you that they have these two elements, okay? They have this headline, which this is the same as subheadline, but paragraph. And the text is controlled over here, typography. So if you notice right now, this headline text is using the Montserrat, okay? It's using the lot to alike. Like, see what I'm changing here? So just so you can see it. But notice it's not changing the paragraph, okay? Let me bring your attention one more time. Look at over here. Even though this is very obvious that this is headline text, you might end up using it in a way that it's not meant to be used and be confused. So look down here, okay? Look down here. Notice that I'm actually using this headline. As I change it, it's changing that, even though this is bigger. It's because of the element. So this is one little small, like, I guess, thing that you got to pay attention to that is a little bit different with the high level builder, okay? Is that over here you have all this little different stuff. So let's go change this again and watch this when I change it, all right? I'll change it to Arial, okay? And so you're literally seeing it change. And so I just wanted to make sure that I pointed that out. Now, if I do pop into this specific, let me close this out, this specific element, right? So this is a paragraph that's going on here, okay? We won't get into this too much, but this is how you can name an element in case you ever have to reference it or anything like that. But inside of here, this is a typical thing that you'll be using is the paragraph text, right? And so inside paragraph text, they have all these parameters inside of here to change things around. Fun stuff, you know, you want to put a shadow on it. Ooh, that looks cool. You want to do some spacing. Again, by coming in here and playing with it, you'll learn, okay? The typography. So for some, like if you want to like venture off and have multiple fonts, you can actually come down here and individually control it. So see what they're trying to do is they're trying to help you out with design and trying to keep everything kind of uniform. So that's what the whole idea of like the typography is all about. But again, if you want to come in here and you want to change this specific element to something specific, you can do that. And they do use Google fonts, okay? So barely anybody knows what the hell Allure, Alamari, Calamari, Pucamani, Akunali, I don't know what the hell these things mean. Who does? Nobody does, right? That's no problem. You just head over to Google Fonts, okay? Just head over to Google Fonts. And underneath Google Fonts, you just go find what you want. And then that's how you do it. And so what I usually recommend is that you just go into categories and just take off which ones you don't want to look at. So a lot of people like these handwriting fonts. So maybe if you like Pacifico, right? Pacifico. Let's head back over there and let's go find Pacifico, right? So there you go. There's Pacifico. And boom, there's my Pacifico, right? So that's how you can really get some creativity and individual, design. Okay. All right. So that is going to narrow it down here for a moment. Let me take a quick little couple minutes second break. For all of you guys that are live, are there any questions that you want to put in the live chat that you have specifically about what we just covered? So I'll give you guys 60 seconds to put in a question if you do have one while I'm reconfiguring my dashboard, and we will pop on over in just 1 second here. We'll continue on here. All right, got that going. All right, That's good. That's good. That is good there. All right. How did we end up doing? Let's jump back in here and we'll jump back into the funnels. One question came in here was by a person here was, do you import the entire funnel? No, you don't. It's page by page. Another question that may be coming up that you don't know about it is, can you import other pages? And you can't. Okay, you can't. The most common one is, can you import WordPress pages? What are the best ways so it looks great on a mobile phone? That's a background image, and then in here, this is just the text, right? This is just the text, and the text pulled in, oh, it's red. These are all the properties that was being read, and this is the stuff that controls every single website. It'll never change. Never change, okay? Never, never, never. Unlike Facebook advertising, you know, bots, all this crazy stuff, this stuff will never change, okay? It's the same across the board. So Daniel, real quickly, let's go over here. And he said, how do we make sure that it looks good on mobile, right? Mobile. And literally over here, so now what you want to do is you do have to design for mobile also. So they'll do their best job because it's all responsive. I'll just throw a word out there. You guys may or may not know about this, but if you are interested and you want to sound really geeky when you're talking to people, it's called Bootstrap. So you can actually go and like Google it if you ever want to Google it, but it's literally called Bootstrap. And this is like the framework on literally how responsive development works. Okay. So literally all this stuff is built on a 12 column grid. So I know I'm getting a little bit overboard, but I know there might be some techie people here and you probably want to know this, but what it is it's just it's a 12 column grid. And so this grid, what you're seeing here, when you go from different media queries, a media query is nothing more than desktop, tablet, mobile. For this funnel builder in ClickFunnels Funnel Builder, they're showing here that just like, you know, if you're used to ClickFunnels, that there's only two that they're actually working with. Where'd we go on my page? Is just desktop and mobile. Okay. And what it is this is how things collapse. That's actually a good thing. Okay. It's how it collapses. And so what happens is that responsive building, it collapses on top of one another. Okay. So it'll collapse. And so anyways, I'm not going to get too deep in this because it's a little bit more geeky than we need to get to. But if you are interested, you want to do a little research on that, that's how it all works. All right, so let's go look at the mobile version. So the mobile version, and what's happening when I say collapse, let's talk about that for a second, right? So look what happened. This logo went on top of this, so let's be more specific. This column, the column moved on top of the other one. The column moved on top, see it? Boom, it collapsed. Okay, so that's how it works. You've got this little part here, and then now they're on top of one another. All right, and so literally just come over here. And so with High Level, they have a little feature down here where you go under advanced and you click on it, whether you want that element visible for mobile and or desktop. So let's just say, for example, that this logo wasn't really good on mobile, right? So one of the early tricks of the trade of the top funnel designers, which if you guys have ever bought a funnel from any of the top funnel designers, you will know that they use custom CSS inside of it. And they also use different elements that are for desktop versus the mobile. And so one of the things is, let's just say that we only wanted this to show on mobile, right? We would unclick it and then boom, there it is. So now it's not showing on desktop. I'm over here, only on desktop. See how that works? And so a quick trick of the trade, okay, for you guys to learn is that if this ever becomes something that doesn't look good on mobile, like, so if you don't like the way it looks, like, look at all these spaces and stuff, right? Obviously all these spaces, we'd probably want to click these spaces and make sure that they're not showing on mobile. So you don't need that space. So just hide it. You just hide it, okay? You just hide it. Those were the spaces for the opt-in, of course, because I pulled it over. We'd have to put in our own opt-in form. But I just want to show you this couple a little trick of the trade. So the trick of the trade is duplicating elements. So for example, again, this is not the easiest. Maybe if let me swap out the logo, and what we'll do is this way you can really understand it. Let's just say, for example, that you had an obnoxious logo that was, let's go with something like that, okay? So this logo doesn't look good on the desktop, right? But it's gonna probably look pretty good here, right? So there's that post. So what you would do is you duplicate it. You would only show that logo on mobile. So we'll turn it off visibility for mobile. Then you go to the duplicate element, and that one, we don't want to show it on mobile, right? So here we go, we jump back in here, we come back in here, and I would have a new image waiting for you, right? You'd have a new image. And so that image would be, you know, this one. And so there you go, right? So desktop only. So that's how this works, and that's how you design for mobile with these types of builders, is you design one for mobile, and then you design one for desktop, okay? And so what that means, if you guys have never, or you're trying to like wrap it around your head, like how would you do that? Sometimes people have which you're supposed to have a horizontal logo, like a name. Sometimes it's 2 words. And so on desktop, it looks really nice, like one long horizontal word. But on mobile, it gets really small because it has to like condense because it's mobile. So what you do is you design another logo. Instead of having 2 words, is you put 1 word on top of another. And so for that type of case, that's what you would do with this thing. So hopefully that helps you out a little bit. Okay, so we're losing time. I'm gonna have to do this really, really fast. Okay, so I have 0 design skills, and I also have 0 writing skills. So why can I design some of the best funnels with the best content, the best everything? Well, again, it's just like this concept I'm trying to teach you here, that you don't start from the beginning. Pretty much that's it. Like, that's all you really need to know, and you're out of the box. Like, that's really it.